There's a cruel myth whispered in hospital hallways and rehab centers all over the world. A myth that after a stroke, your recovery clock is ticking, and once 6 months pass, the door slams shut. Progress slows to nothing. Hope fades. But listen closely. That myth is a lie. The truth is, your brain is not a rigid, broken machine. It is a living, breathing, rewiring miracle. Every single day, every thought, every movement, every bite of food, your brain is either starving or it's healing. And here's the shocking part. The foods you've been told are just healthy snacks or simple ingredients might actually hold the raw power to reignite your brain's repair system. Foods so powerful, they can help your neurons sprout new connections, rebuild lost pathways, and restore the spark of memory, speech, and movement you thought was gone forever. This is the science of neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire and rebuild itself. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Because no matter your age, no matter how long it's been since your stroke, your brain can still change. Your brain can still heal. And yes, your brain can still relearn the things you once thought you'd lost for good. But before we dive in, I want you to do something brave. If you or someone you love has been touched by a stroke, type one word in the comments: hope. Because hope is not an illusion. It's the first step of healing. Every time you type that word, you're sending a message to your brain: I'm still here, and I'm still rewiring. Now, let's talk about how to feed that healing. Recovery after a stroke isn't a straight line. Some days you wake up ready to fight. Other days, even buttoning a shirt feels impossible. And that's okay. You're not failing. You're rebuilding. Modern neuroscience has proven something truly incredible. The human brain can rebuild lost connections, form new neural pathways, and even reassign vital functions, if you give it the right tools. And those tools? They're not found in pills or expensive supplements. They're found in your kitchen, on your plate, in the everyday foods that can literally tell your brain, grow again. So here's what we'll uncover together today. First, we'll explore 7 brain-building foods that feed neuroplasticity and help your brain reconnect faster. Then, we'll expose 5 common mistakes that quietly block recovery and slow progress. And finally, I'll show you 5 daily habits scientifically proven to speed up your brain's rewiring process. Each step builds on the one before it, so stay with me until the end. Because by the time we finish, you'll have a roadmap for recovery you can start today. No hype, no gimmicks, just simple science-backed steps to help your brain heal itself. All right, let us begin where true recovery starts, with the foods that nourish your brain back to life. The first food is small, but its power is enormous. The first food is small, but it carries the strength of an army. Blueberries, the brain berries. After a stroke, your brain is in flames. A raging fire of inflammation and oxidative stress is tearing at your neurons, making it nearly impossible for them to rebuild. And while the doctors prescribe medications, nature has already hidden firefighters in plain sight, inside every handful of blueberries. These deep blue gems are packed with anthocyanins, rare antioxidants so powerful they can cross the blood-brain barrier and enter the battlefield directly. They neutralize the free radicals, calm the storm, and give your neurons the safe space they need to grow again. In one long-term study from Harvard University, older adults who consumed berries regularly delayed cognitive decline by as much as 2.5 years. Think about that. 2.5 extra years of clarity, of memory, of independence, all from a daily handful. But let's move from research to reality. Eleanor, a 74-year-old grandmother, could barely finish a sentence after her stroke. Her granddaughter, desperate to help, began making her a simple breakfast: Greek yogurt, a sprinkle of walnuts, and a generous handful of fresh blueberries. 6 weeks later, Eleanor noticed something shocking. Her fog began to lift. Words came easier. She laughed again. It wasn't magic. It was nourishment. Her brain was finally being fed. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, don't skip the berries. Put them on your oatmeal. Blend them into a smoothie. Eat them straight from the bowl. Because each handful isn't just fruit, it's fuel for your second chance. The second food doesn't just look like your brain, it rebuilds it from the inside out. Walnuts, the brain nut. If you hold a walnut in your hand, you'll notice something uncanny. Its ridges, folds, and twin lobes are a mirror image of the human brain. And nature does not make accidents. Why is this nut so essential? Because your brain is nearly 60% fat. Every time you think, move, or remember, your neurons fire using fatty membranes. After a stroke, those membranes are damaged, frayed, desperate for raw materials to rebuild. Walnuts deliver exactly that. They are rich in ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that your body transforms into DHA, the very bricks and mortar of brain cells. Without it, neuroplasticity slows. With it, your brain lays new tracks, forms new pathways, and relearns what was lost. One study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging found seniors who ate walnuts scored significantly higher on cognitive tests, showing sharper memory and stronger mental performance. But let's make it practical. A handful of raw, unsalted walnuts each day. That's it. Crush them over salads, toss them into oatmeal, or snack on them in the afternoon when your energy dips. Every bite is like delivering construction materials directly to your neurons. And I want to ask you, have you ever been told to fear fat? Decades of diet propaganda told seniors to cut fat to protect the heart. But the truth is, the right fats don't just protect your heart. They rebuild your mind. If you've ever been stuck on a low-fat diet, type hand up in the comments. It's time to break that cycle. The third food is green, leafy, and deceptively simple. Spinach, kale, collards, the leafy greens. On the surface, they look like salad filler. But inside, they are neuroprotective weapons. Packed with folate, vitamin K, and lutein, they fight two silent killers of stroke recovery: inflammation and homocysteine. Homocysteine is an amino acid that, when elevated, damages your blood vessels and strangles brain repair. Leafy greens lower it. Folate and vitamin K T just support blood flow. They protect neurons from further damage and give your brain the foundation it needs to regrow. The famous MIND diet, created by researchers at Rush University, showed that even moderate consumption of leafy greens could slash the risk of cognitive decline dramatically. And if they can prevent decline, imagine what they can do for recovery. Robert, a 78-year-old stroke survivor, struggled for months with balance. His progress in therapy stalled. Then his son made one small change. Every night, a large side salad with dark leafy greens. 2 months later, Robert's therapist was stunned. His balance improved more in those 2 months than the previous 4 combined. His brain was finally being given the micronutrients it needed to make therapy stick. So let me ask you, spinach or kale? Drop your favorite in the comments right now. And if your fridge is empty, make a promise to yourself. Tomorrow put greens on your plate. Your neurons are begging for it. The fourth food is golden, powerful, and ancient. Turmeric, with its secret activator, black pepper. Inside your brain there is a miraculous protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it as miracle grow for neurons. It helps your brain grow new cells, repair damaged ones, and form fresh pathways. After a stroke, BDNF is the master switch for recovery. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has been shown in study after study to raise BDNF levels. But here's the catch. It is nearly impossible for your body to absorb unless you pair it with black pepper. Piperine, the compound in black pepper, increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. Without pepper, turmeric is a locked treasure chest. With pepper, the lock opens and the brain-repairing magic flows. Imagine ending your day with a warm golden milk, turmeric whisked into almond milk, a pinch of black pepper, and a drizzle of honey. Comforting, soothing, and silently rebuilding your brain overnight. If you've ever used turmeric before, promise me this. Type "I promise" in the comments if you will never again use turmeric without black pepper. It's that critical. There's a smell that fills your kitchen long before your food hits the plate. A warm, rich, earthy scent. Garlic. To most people, it's just flavor. But to your recovering brain, it's medicine disguised as taste. Garlic is not just an old kitchen staple. It's a neurological guardian. Inside every clove there's allicin, a sulfur compound with the remarkable ability to lower blood pressure, improve blood flow, and fight off oxidative stress. But here is the part almost no one talks about. Allicin helps your brain's mitochondria breathe again. After a stroke, your neurons are gasping for oxygen and energy. They're trying to survive in a landscape of chaos. Garlic supports mitochondrial repair, letting your brain produce energy more efficiently, which means faster signal transmission, sharper focus, and clearer thinking. A 2021 study from the Journal of Nutrition showed that aged garlic extract improved cognitive function and reaction time in adults over 60. Another, from the American Heart Association, linked daily garlic consumption to improved vascular elasticity, meaning your arteries stay flexible and oxygen flows to your brain like a clean river after a storm. I want you to imagine this. Instead of drowning your meal in salt, you saute a clove of garlic in olive oil. The scent fills the air. What you're really doing is telling your brain, I'm helping you heal. One meal at a time. Now let's talk about something our ancestors understood long before modern science gave it a name. Fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. These aren't just proteins, they're cognitive resurrection in edible form. Every brain cell membrane, every neural pathway that helps you remember your daughter's name, every spark of joy when you taste your morning coffee, all of it depends on omega-3 fatty acids. DHA in particular is the cornerstone of neuroplasticity. Without it, neurons can't communicate properly. After a stroke, DHA becomes the difference between stagnation and new growth. One clinical trial published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that stroke patients who consumed omega-3 rich diets recovered speech and motor coordination up to 30% faster than those who didn't make tea. Why? Because DHA doesn't just rebuild neurons. It encourages them to connect in new ways, essentially reprogramming the brain's wiring. But here's what the supplement industry want to tell you. You can shortcut nature. Fish oil capsules oxidize fast, losing potency before they ever reach your bloodstream. Real fish, eaten fresh 2 to 3 times a week, delivers what your neurons crave, pure, stable DHA in its natural form. And if you don't eat fish, don't panic. Algae-based omega-3 is the plant version of the same miracle, perfectly safe and just as powerful. I once spoke to a retired pianist named Alan. After his stroke, he couldn't move his right hand. His neurologist told him he might never play again. Alan didn't accept that. He started eating salmon twice a week, meditating daily, and practicing finger stretches. 9 months later, he performed a simple melody again. The same melody he played for his wife when they first met. Tears rolled down her face. That's not just recovery, that's rebirth. The 6th brain food on our list is small enough to fit in your pocket, but mighty enough to fortify your neurons: pumpkin seeds. They're the quiet hero of neuro recovery, packed with magnesium, zinc, iron, and copper. 4 minerals your brain depends on to fire signals cleanly and repair itself. Magnesium is your brain's natural chill pill, reducing overstimulation that often follows trauma. Zinc supports nerve growth. Iron fuels oxygen delivery. And copper helps build the neurotransmitters that shape thought and emotion. But the story doesn't stop at nutrients. Pumpkin seeds also contain tryptophan, the precursor to serotonin, your mood regulator. After a stroke, emotional instability is common. Frustration, sadness, even rage. Pumpkin seeds don't just rebuild your brain, they soothe it. A study in Nutrients Journal found that seniors who consumed magnesium-rich foods daily had significantly lower rates of post-stroke depression and better memory retention. That's not coincidence, that's biochemistry. So grab a handful instead of chips. Toast them lightly with olive oil, a sprinkle of sea salt, and maybe even a touch of turmeric and pepper. You'll get flavor, texture, and healing, all in one crunch. And now we arrive at something people call a guilty pleasure. But what if it was actually medicine? Dark chocolate. I'm not talking about the sugary candy bar kind. I mean pure, high cacao, dark chocolate, 70% or higher. The kind that tastes slightly bitter at first, but melts into richness and depth. This is brain fuel of the highest order. Dark chocolate is loaded with flavonoids, compounds proven to enhance blood flow to the brain, increase neurogenesis, and improve memory. In 2018, researchers from Loma Linda University found that even a single serving of dark chocolate boosted brain gamma waves linked to attention, relaxation, and learning. But here's the real secret. Dark chocolate raises dopamine levels. That means motivation, the energy to get up, do your rehab exercises, push through frustration, and try again. You're not just rewarding yourself, you're chemically recharging your will to heal. I want you to remember this. Recovery isn't a single miracle moment. It takes thousands of small decisions, each one building the bridge between who you were and who you re-becoming. One blueberry, one walnut, one square of chocolate at a time. So let's recap what we've uncovered in this first chapter of your healing journey. Blueberries to fight inflammation. Walnuts to rebuild the brain structure. Leafy greens to restore circulation. Turmeric and pepper to spark neurogenesis. Garlic to energize your neurons. Fatty fish to rewire connections. Pumpkin seeds to calm and fortify. And dark chocolate to reignite joy and motivation. These are not trends. They are biological truths. Proof that your recovery is not limited by time. It's limited only by nourishment, consistency, and belief. In the next part of this series, we'll talk about the 5 silent mistakes that block recovery. Because while the right foods can rebuild your brain, the wrong habits can quietly destroy progress faster than any medication can fix. So if you've ever wondered why you were doing everything right but still feel stuck, what I am about to reveal next might shock you. Stay with me, because the truth you're about to hear could change everything. Let's get real for a moment. Because while the right foods can rebuild your brain, the wrong choices can quietly destroy your progress. You can eat all the blueberries and salmon in the world, but if you're remaking these 5 mistakes, your recovery will feel like running uphill with weights tied to your legs. These are the 5 silent mistakes that block your brain from healing after a stroke. And chances are, at least one of them is happening in your life right now. Mistake number 1. Believing recovery has an expiration date. Doctors often mean well, but many stroke survivors hear the same devastating line. Most recovery happens in the first 6 months, and that one sentence kills more hope than the stroke itself. Neuroscience has already shattered that myth. The brain's ability to rewire, its neuroplasticity, does not stop. It slows, yes, but it never stops. Your neurons are like tree roots searching for new soil. As long as you're alive, they can grow, connect, and adapt. A 2020 study in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that even patients 10 years post-stroke were able to regain mobility and cognitive function when they consistently stimulated their brains through targeted diet, therapy, and movement. I want you to imagine this. A 72-year-old man named Harold, who hadn't moved his left arm in 5 years. His daughter bought him a small squeeze ball. Every day he spent 5 minutes just trying. It took months. But one morning, the ball rolled out of his hand on its own. His brain had found a new pathway. That's neuroplasticity. That's proof that you are not done. The fix: erase the timeline. Replace 6 months with as long as it takes. Recovery isn't a deadline. It's a discipline. Mistake number 2, living on low-fat and low-salt diets. This is one of the cruelest health lies ever told. For decades, seniors were told, avoid fat, cut salt, eat light. But your brain runs on fat and electrolytes. Starve it of these and you starve your recovery. Your neurons are built from omega-3s and cholesterol. Without them, they can't form stable connections. And low sodium levels can actually slow nerve signals and make you feel fatigued, foggy, or even depressed. A 2019 study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that extremely low-fat diets increase the risk of cognitive decline. Meanwhile, moderate healthy fats, like those in avocado, olive oil, walnuts, and fish, improve memory and brain speed. Here's the truth. It's not low fat. It's right fat. It's not no salt. It's natural salt. The fix: replace fear with fuel. Ditch the processed junk, but embrace whole, unrefined fats and minerals. Your neurons will thank you. Mistake number 3: ignoring sleep and rest. You can push your body all day in therapy, but if you don't sleep, your brain can't rebuild. Period. During deep sleep, your brain performs one of the most important recovery tasks. It cleans itself. This is done through the glymphatic system, a natural washing cycle that flushes out toxins and damaged proteins from your brain tissue. When you sleep less than 6 hours, that system shuts down, and the debris stays trapped, clogging your recovery like sludge in an engine. Sleep is when new neural connections are stabilized, when the practice of the day turns into permanent wiring. Without rest, your progress is temporary. I remember speaking with Anna, a 68-year-old stroke survivor who did everything right: therapy, nutrition, exercise. But she still felt foggy and irritable. Then she confessed. She slept only 4 hours a night. Once she began prioritizing 7 to 8 hours, her memory, recall, and energy improved within 2 weeks. The fix: protect your sleep like medication. Set a bedtime routine, turn off screens an hour before bed, and create a cool, quiet environment. You're not resting, you're rebuilding. Mistake number 4: sitting all day. Movement is not optional, it's oxygen for your brain. When you sit too long, blood flow slows, oxygen delivery drops, and neuroplasticity declines. But here, even more shocking. Prolonged sitting actually shrinks parts of your brain linked to memory and coordination. In a UCLA study, adults who sat more than 7 hours a day had thinner medial temporal lobes, the very region responsible for learning and short-term memory. This doesn't mean you need to run marathons. Even gentle, consistent movement can reawaken your brain. Stretching your arms, flexing your fingers, or walking slowly down the hall, each signal you send to your muscles is also a signal you send to your brain saying, "I'm alive, I'm still learning." The fix: move every hour, even for 60 seconds. March in place, rotate your shoulders, stand up, breathe deeply. Every movement is a mini message of recovery. Mistake number 5: doing it alone. This might be the hardest one. After a stroke, many survivors isolate themselves out of embarrassment or fatigue. They stop talking, stop socializing, stop asking for help. But here's the hidden danger. Loneliness kills neuroplasticity. The brain grows through connection, literally. Every conversation, every laugh, every shared story triggers neurotransmitters like oxytocin and dopamine that boost learning and emotional stability. Without human connection, your neurons stay dormant. A Harvard study that tracked adults for 75 years found that strong social bonds were the single biggest predictor of long-term brain health, stronger than diet, exercise, or income. Connection heals what medication can't. The fix: don't hide. Reach out. Join a support group, call an old friend, talk with your therapist, or even share your journey online. The act of communicating activates the very circuits you're trying to repair. You've seen what helps rebuild the brain. You've seen what holds it back. Now let's talk about what ignites it, because inside your skull right now, there are over 86 billion neurons, each one capable of growing, connecting, and adapting. But they don't grow on their own. They need activation. They need your daily habits, the small, consistent sparks that light the engine of recovery. These are the 5 daily habits that boost neuroplasticity. Simple, free, and within your control. If you've found yourself in any of these 5 mistakes, don't feel guilty. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Because once you know what's holding you back, you can change it. And here's the empowering truth. Every correction, every new habit you build, reignites the same miracle your body was born with, the ability to heal itself. So in the next chapter, we're going to shift gears. You now know what to avoid. Next, we'll reveal the 5 daily habits that don't just support recovery, they accelerate it. Simple, practical, powerful steps that anyone can start today to unlock the full potential of their healing brain. Stay with me, because the next few minutes might be the missing link between slow progress and breakthrough recovery. Habit number 1. Feed your brain at the same time. Every day, your brain doesn't just care what you eat, it cares when. After a stroke, your neurons crave stability. When you eat at consistent times, your body releases predictable waves of glucose and insulin, giving your brain a steady fuel supply. But when you skip meals or eat erratically, your brain enters stress mode, using energy inefficiently, and that can delay healing. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that regular eating patterns, paired with overnight fasting windows of 12-14 hours, improve cognitive function and reduce brain inflammation. Think of it as giving your neurons a rhythm, a biological clock that tells them it's time to grow. Here's how to do it. Eat breakfast within an hour of waking. Space your meals 4 to 5 hours apart. Stop eating at least 2 hours before bed. When you fuel your brain consistently, you create the stable energy it needs to build new pathways. Habit number 2. Challenge your brain. Every single day. The brain is a muscle. Use it or lose it. Neuroplasticity thrives on novelty. When you try something new, even something tiny, you force your brain to forge fresh connections. That's the spark of growth. A 2019 study from Harvard Medical School found that seniors who learned new skills, like digital photography or a foreign language, showed significant increases in brain connectivity and memory compared to those who stuck to routine. But here is the key. You don't need to learn Mandarin or play the violin. You just need to do something your brain isn't used to. Try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Take a different route on your walk. Learn a new recipe. Even watching a documentary about a subject you know nothing about lights up new areas of the brain. Let me tell you about Peter, 67, who lost partial vision and mobility after a stroke. His therapist gave him an unexpected assignment: build Lego models. At first he laughed, but as he practiced, he noticed something. His coordination, focus, and patience improved. The child's toy had become his neurological gym. The takeaway: your brain doesn't care how old you are. It only cares that you keep learning. Habit number 3. Move with purpose, not perfection. Movement is not just physical therapy, it's brain therapy. Every time you move, you send signals from your body up to your brain, strengthening the communication network. But here's the secret most people miss. It's not about big, dramatic exercises. It's about purposeful, mindful movement. When you consciously focus on your motion, how your foot hits the floor, how your hand grips the object, you engage the motor cortex and cerebellum more deeply. That conscious effort teaches your brain to refine those pathways faster. A 2022 study from the Journal of Rehabilitation found that stroke patients who practiced mindful movement, slow, deliberate repetitions with mental focus, had 47% greater improvement in motor recovery compared to those who just moved automatically. You can do this right now. Sit up straight, lift your hand. Slowly rotate your wrist while looking at it. Feel the movement. Say in your mind, "I'm rewiring my brain," because you are. Tip: pair your movement with rhythm. Put on gentle music or count out loud. The rhythm helps the brain coordinate timing between regions responsible for balance and motor control. Habit number 4. Practice brain breathing, oxygen training. It sounds simple, but deep breathing is one of the most underrated brain boosters on Earth. After a stroke, many people unknowingly breathe shallowly, using only the upper chest. That means less oxygen for your neurons, less fuel for repair. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing floods your brain with oxygen and triggers the vagus nerve, calming the stress response and improving blood flow to critical regions like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Here's a 60-second habit that can change your day. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat 5 times. Do this once in the morning, once midday, and before bed. MRI scans have shown that just 5 minutes of this practice increases brain connectivity between emotional and cognitive centers. It literally makes you think and feel better at the same time. If your brain feels foggy or your speech slows down, stop, breathe, re-oxygenate, reset. Remember, you're not just breathing, you're rebooting. Habit number 5, speak your progress out loud. Your voice is a neurological amplifier. When you speak your intentions, your affirmations, or your goals out loud, you activate both language and motor networks, reinforcing neural circuits involved in speech, emotion, and motivation. In one fascinating study at UCLA, stroke patients who practiced verbal affirmations, like "I'm improving," "My arm is getting stronger," "I will speak clearly again," showed faster recovery in both mood and functional communication. Your brain listens when you talk. It doesn't know the difference between reality and rehearsal. It responds to repetition. So every morning say it. I am rewiring my brain. I am healing. I am getting stronger every day. Speak it until your neurons believe it, because they will. Let's recap your neuroplasticity toolkit. Feed your brain on rhythm. Challenge it daily. Move with awareness. Breathe with purpose. Speak your progress out loud. These 5 habits are not complicated, but their power compounds. Every repetition strengthens your neural architecture. Every small victory builds the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. And here's the truth most people never hear. You're not just recovering, you're rebuilding. Not the same brain you had before, but a smarter, more resilient one. So starting tonight, pick one habit. Just one. Do it tomorrow. Then the next day, then again. Because neuroplasticity isn't a theory, it's a promise. And every single day, you have the chance to prove it true. If this message gave you hope, please take a second to hit the like button, because someone out there needs this same reminder. Share it with anyone walking the long road of recovery. And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your comeback story. You have the power. You have the science. You have a brain that wants to heal. Now, let's make it happen. One habit, one neuron, one new connection at a time. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. You've just spent the last few minutes not just listening, but learning how to rebuild your brain. And maybe right now you're thinking, I've tried before. I've fallen behind. I don't know if I have the strength. Let me tell you something. You do. Every neuron in your brain is listening right now. It's waiting for a signal. That signal is belief. Science calls it neuroplasticity, but I call it the quiet miracle inside you. Because no matter how old you are, no matter what you've lost, no matter what they told you was impossible, your brain can still grow. It can still adapt. It can still rewrite your story. There's a phrase we use in neuroscience. Neurons that fire together, wire together. It means every time you practice hope, you are wiring your brain for hope. Every time you choose to move, to eat well, to speak words of healing, your brain listens, and it rewires itself around that choice. You are not broken. You are becoming. I've worked with survivors who couldn't lift a fork, who couldn't remember their children's names, and now they walk, they talk, they live fully again. They didn't get there overnight. They got there one choice at a time. So tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to do one simple thing. Place your hand on your heart and say, my brain is healing. My brain is learning. I'm not done yet. Because you're not. Your story is still being written. And the next chapter begins with what you do tomorrow morning. Now, before we close, I want you to join a movement of strength, science, and second chances. If this video gave you even one spark of belief, do 3 simple things right now. Comment the word Rewire below as your declaration that your brain is rebuilding. Second, hit the like button. Not for the algorithm, but for yourself. It's a small physical act that tells your brain, I'm taking action. Third, share this video with someone who's lost hope. Someone who needs to hear that recovery isn't over. It's only just beginning. And finally, subscribe to this channel, because we're not just another health channel. We are a community of rebuilders, of believers, of people proving that the brain's greatest power is its ability to begin again. You've survived the hardest part, the moment it happened. Now, you're living the most important part, the moment you choose to rise. Eat with intention, move with purpose, think with faith, and never, ever forget, you are not too late to heal. This is your channel name, reminding you, your brain can be rewired, your story can be rewritten, and your best days are still ahead.